Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Frost and Fire. Last episode was quite the spicy episode. We had a bunch of bugs burrowing up into our territory from the west here. And we had to deal with that, which considerably threw a wrench into our plans. Because as a result, we had to deal with the bugs rather than accepting the quest to host the Royal, which I do plan on doing. Picking up where we left off, we have Bash, who is wounded, but the burn isn't even doing damage to his body, so it's pretty negligible. We definitely have some cleanup to make out here to sort of fix up this area so that we can trap it up again. The prematurely laid traps were absolutely a success, and I intend to do that again. We're also in the middle of the perfectly temperate part of the season. So things like external projects are best done now. We did find a rather large cave here, which I am going to probably do something like this, where I'm going to take steel and change the way that this cave lets out. So that if there are bugs in this section, they don't mess with my monument, or at least not easily, not immediately. Yeah, Bash is fully healed before even getting home. Now, there are a lot of bugs left, and I have a ridiculous amount of nutrient paste meals. I could always sell the nutrient paste meals, so if I wanted to make some more, it wouldn't be a ridiculous idea, but I'm not going to make them in lieu of anything else, right? I definitely want to focus on the missions that I have. So we have Simeon in the encampment for a neural farmer, and that would bring Hippie up to level 5. As you can see, she's at level 4. And then we have the hosting quest for the Royal and the Crosshairs. And this, of course, would bring us a wonderful Persona Monosword with the Psi Meditative trait, and a Harmonizer, and a Mountain of Plasteel. Just a ridiculous amount of it. Alright, well, I am planning on accepting this quest. Let's just do it now. Imperials have arrived on my southern flanks. So we have the Count, who's in trouble. He actually arrived with his own plasteel, or bio-coated plasma sword. Bio-coated to him, of course, but it's not a monoblade. It's not as much damage. So these guys here are going to be sticking around for 18 days. But that also means that they are going to need to be put into sort of a secure area. So let's Constans here. You will be given fine meals and no acceptable food. Oh, you only eat lavish or berries or chocolate. I hadn't accounted for that. Oh, pun. Totally unintended. Let me start making some berries. I don't really care if he gets sick. I'm not going to use him as a combatant, but I will significantly switch over a lot of my growing over to berries for him. The Ship Lord. Oh man, that is very close to something even funnier. And then we are also going to need some additional beds for the sort of court guests, I guess is what you could call them. For now, probably easiest to just transition the hospital over and then deal with the court guests later. Now, they do work, which is surprising given that they're royal. Well, one of them works. Two of them work, rather. So let's make sure to paste. Oh, that's not what I wanted. To change their priorities so that the grunt and the masseuse can help us. So I think honestly just having them haul for now would be ideal. And then for scheduling, I'm going to have them all stay fortified just so that they're protected. The stay fortified zone will indeed include the cave here, but it doesn't need to include up here anymore. We don't need anyone going north to build or anything like that. So I'll update it. They are very, very, very quickly going to be ill-equipped for the temperature. Only in a few days will it become too hot for them to work outside, so there's a very limited amount of window of opportunity for them to actually do anything significant. But here, Constan's room is all set to go. And as a result, I'm going to receive some lovely, what was it, mech clusters? 2 mech clusters of ×2 size. So 2 mega mech clusters will be landing on me. So Constance, you, my friend, are going to be set to fully recreate, and I have to keep you happy. Now, they are set on scheduled drugs. I only have fine meals for the moment. I don't intend to feed him anything beyond fine meals. I will give him berries when I get berries. I suppose I could have him set to eat my insect jelly, but I probably won't be doing that, if I'm being honest. That's just a misuse. Bash is already rearming the traps that I had, and there are some changes I want to make to my trap systems, which I will make shortly once I have rebuilt a whole bunch of stuff. So one, let's put some bottlenecking doors here. That doesn't really bottleneck much, but a bottleneck door here, just to keep the heat contained. We're gonna want a door built back, let's say here. Another thing I wanted to do is to have significant sources of fuel for fires, which I think is important. So what that means is things that can burn near my doors, so that when bugs are pissed off, there's a lot of there's a lot of easy access sources of fuel around here. I might even use wood for that, but I'm going to wait until I've got it a little more built up. Okay, so Gabe is going through. Oh, that should be on. I guess I killed a few heal root. That's my bad. In fact, this whole farm, let's just set to berries for the royal pooper. Now, berries in hydroponics will grow pretty quickly. So soon Constans will have a food source. And as it warms up, I'm going to be flipping on some additional coolers here and there. I will say having the additional haulers is kind of nice. His masseuse and whoever else the other one was. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of nice to have the help. Now, another thing I wanted to do is to, and this is partially for fuel, partially to reduce the chances of infestations spawning in these tunnels, because these tunnels are a little closer to home and I'd prefer the insects spawn elsewhere. I'm going to be replacing the lights in here. So as a little reminder, of course, as the light level goes up, the chance for infestations goes down. Not significantly, but given that lights are only a few watts, 25 or 30 watts a piece, and only a little bit of steel, it's a small investment to lower the chance of something awful, which is, that bugs spawn up, I don't know, somewhere more dangerous, like these tunnels here. All right. Another thing I'm going to need to do is maybe crank through more nutrient paste. I'm curious when I'd next... Oh, I can actually call the machinist. Let me call the machinists here. Guest unhappy. Who's unhappy? Okay, so my two other guests here, I'm going to set them on pure recreation as well. Walking through these nasty bug and corpse infested tunnels is putting them in a bit of a mood, and I don't want them to leave, because if they leave, I fail. And failing would be sad. So, go relax. I command it. So I called in the machinist's caravan in hopes to sell some of my nutrient paste meals, because I have so many and I can make so many more now that it would be in my best interest to sell them off rather than to hope that a solar flare doesn't ruin them all. Another thing I could do is to have Leth here make, I don't know, just some sort of token small statue given her inspiration. I'm going to make it out of marble. This was Travis in the comments, Travis's idea. So Leth, I'm going to set you to 1 on that and let you sculpt. Another thing I might be able to do is to physically clean up these tunnels a little bit as well. It's a terrible job, but if we're ever going to be working in there as miners or whatever, it helps to not have it be so disgusting. All right. Constans, you're unhappy. You're ravenously hungry. Let's have you consume the insect jelly, because I can't have you starving on my watch. And smoke some smoke leaf. God, I am not going to enjoy him here. Not at all. So I do hope to get berries grown really as soon as possible, as that will be his source of food, which is renewable and royal. I'm so happy that the game changed. It used to be, when the royalty DLC first came out, that your own characters that became royal would then demand things like higher quality meals, and they wouldn't work. And then there was so much backlash to that mechanic that the game updated so that there was a concept of being conceited, that royals that were born into the royal traits were conceited and would refuse to work and all that. And your own pawns are not conceited, and they are willing to work and eat normal things. So which is the reason why Raptor here still has all of his normal workload, despite the fact that he's the same rank as Constans, and then also doesn't refuse to eat simple meals or all that. Again, as a result of not being conceited, which is so very nice. I cannot express how much I appreciate that change, because it was really brutal to deal with the fussiest of fussy royals. So I've got maybe about a day before the meat and bugs start to spoil. I'm not, if I wait until the meat is about to spoil, let's say half a day left, and then process it through the nutrient paste, that will buy me some time. Leth is no longer inspired, has made an excellent sculpture. Hey, that's not bad for your absolute lack of artistic skill. Obviously, you know, the inspiration helped. Did most of that work for me. All right, so here we go. We are installing lights and removing bugs. Hippie is cleaning, which I'm sure is going to put her in quite the mood. I guess if I'm trying to illuminate it, I should make sure that I'm illuminating it well. And to space my lights out so they're actually doing their job. Ugh. These guests, honestly. One now. Wait, how are they unhappy? You were actually quite happy. Maverick gave birth to Gorilla Pup 8. Unfortunately, Gorilla Pup 8. Well, you know what? What is the average age expectancy of a gorilla? 15? No, I'm gonna... Same thing I do with all my others. Sadly. Not quite ready to become a rancher on a foreign planet. Alright, so it's a lot more lit now. There's a few more lights to be installed, and that should keep us from being in the dark. There we are. Cleaning the rest up and resetting it for, you know, a possible future bug attack. Adding a lot more lights in now this time around. The lights do really help to reduce chances. It's not surefire, but it's better than nothing. JD is cranking through those dusters, I think. No, maybe not. Maybe... three dusters so far. That's not bad. My guests are happy. Constance is ravenous. I'm going to send him to eat jelly. Actually, if I want to eat jelly... I think it would be best if I have a stack of it near the tables, so that he eats the jelly with a table, as to not add additional mood penalties. So there we go. God, you are the worst royal ever. And that way we get rid of the 8 without the table. At least until we have the berries. So soon I'm going to want to process this fowl meat. We've gotten through, I guess, all the bugs. All the bugs are now moved. The other thing I'm going to want to do is put sources of fire maybe immediately adjacent to the doors, so that, and I know these doors are flammable, but so that it repels bugs sort of naturally. Boy, I am using a lot of power to light things. But that's okay. It's all means to a good end. So over here, what I'm doing here is setting it up so that there's ID traps right next to the doors, so that if insects are trying to bust through, inevitably they will trigger the traps. There's actually a bit of an issue with that design, only because... Yeah, I don't... I'll explain, but I'm not sure I'm going to fix it, which I know is strange. It's a strange concept of, like... So, I don't want 2 different cells of bugs attacking one door. That makes that door particularly vulnerable, but I also don't want the traps right in front of the door, because then my own people are more likely to trip it themselves. So I'm stuck having to decide, do I want to limit the amount of bugs that can attack me, or do I want to, you know, do I want to perhaps trigger a trap on myself? All right, they are sleeping in the cold. I think what I'll do is I will crank up my my AC temp. So what I'm trying to do is just select all of my coolers and set it up to like 68, which should be more comfortable, because the guests that came with Constans are complaining, which is not good for me. And soon I'm going to have to roof off the ground penetrating scanner, because it will just become prohibitive to try to keep it from being a problem. It's also possible that I give fine meals to Ario and Lukapas. Really? Your name is why? Okay. You're gonna go by, God, even your first name is pretty terrible. What you're just gonna be pho. Makes me want Vietnamese food now. Yeah, we'll rename you. I don't have any problem renaming you. All right, we also have these big thing eggs. Yeah. That was kind of funny. All right, let's close these doors now that we're kind of done with the area. Another thing that I might be able to do, well, first thing is to process the meals. So next person that is not a guest that goes for a meal will be sent to do that. And we're just cleaning up the tunnels. All right. Go frenzy for JD. Nice. It's too bad it's not a work frenzy, considering he's just sitting on the tailoring bench, tailoring up a storm. But we are almost, you know, this is actually going to be the last duster that I make out of cloth, because we're just about out of, we're not out of cloth, but we're lower on cloth than I would like to be. Maybe we can get it to rain. Probably not. Who am I kidding? Now, the old spot for the mech clusters was up here, and I don't think there's anything left over. All the plasteel and components have been hauled away. We did redesign this wall here so that if there's infestations up in that quadrant, they don't bother us, which is good. And these are getting cleaned up. If you're wondering why I'm trying to clean them up, there's really nothing better to do. If that's fair. Let's see. You, my royal guest, will be given a spot. So he's got Berserker Pulse, which could be very useful if we get attacked by mechanoids or something like that. He doesn't have... I'm not going to set like a required psi focus necessarily. So now that we have those dusters done, let me change up the material over to Swamp Hide Turtle and keep cranking them out. I just didn't want to use on my cloth. All right, someone please go for meals. Everybody's like, it's not going to be me. I don't want to make the NPM. Bash, don't feed Glitch the nice meat. It's too bad that in default RimWorld there's not a way to restrict animal diets. And I'm not going to use a mod to do it, so I just have to watch and suffer. All right. Gabe, it's going to be you. Sorry, Gabe, but this will take a minute. More than a minute, because that's a lot of bug meat. I really hope the bulk goods trader that I so kindly paid for in favor actually arrives. Because I have a lot of meals. It's getting to be absurd how many meals I'm accumulating. And it would be very, very handy if I had the ability to sell these. Because they are stacking up to a ridiculous amount, which I find rather hilarious. That in Frost and Fire, a mod that was more or less about the scarcity of food sources, I would be drowning in food. There is an irony there that is not lost on me, not for 1 second. Now, some of these bugs are starting to decay. Like that one. That scarab must have died first or something. Poor Leth. There's like stacks of food piling up. And brewing happening in the bedroom, and it's kind of nonsense. All right, at this point, I have too many. I need to start hauling. So Gabe, you'll be back on simple meals, and that is another 250 meals that I obviously don't have space for. I could build a bigger freezer, but I'm not going to be doing that. You don't build for peak. I just hope that the bulk goods trader comes through for me soon. That might be the last required batch of berries, because I think we're going to have a harvest of berries pretty soon, which will be great. Still a little bit of cleanup to be done over there. And then some of these old mining tunnels that I kind of abandoned, let me just get rid of. Maybe at some point I mine out that way. Oh, there we go. So now we've got brother of Ario, who's a machinist. I'm not going to take... Where are you? Oh, you're down here. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to immediately run to them to trade, just in case they complain about the hot temperatures and want to leave. So they don't buy nutrient paste meals. Okay. Well, ho-hum. Ho-hum. What can I do here? Big thing, the eggs do sell. I could sell them. I could sell the fowl meat at this point, because it's clear to me that I'm not going to be able to do much with the extra meals that I have that I don't want. And then of these guys, I think what I'll do is buy... Anything I buy is going to be out of bounds for me, so I have to make sure to address that as well. A stack of components. Oh, that is a lot of money. But it does save JD from having to make it himself. So there's a small benefit there. Yeah, maybe just that. Okay, well, let's break even with the components rather than put us in debt. It's just enough. Oh, perfect. Perfect trade. There it is. And then Raptor Can haul the components back, and then we have 1,051 silver to haul in. So the rest of these meals, I'm going to try something. I have no idea if this is going to work, but let's put 250 of them into a pod. And I'm going to super haul for everybody. And we'll try to use these meals as a source of reputation. An Imperial trader flying overhead. Oh, interesting. I don't think there's much that I would want from them. Oh, they have a persona monosword. What's the persona on it, though? Psychic sensitizing, neural cooling. Ooh, those are nice. Quite nice, but I don't think I could afford it, even after I move all of my materials. Let's see. Well, yeah, no, there was nothing they even wanted to buy from me, so I suppose that's it. They have no interest in purchasing anything I own, so that's the whole trade opportunity, unfortunately for me. All right, so launch one ready. Got to render the planet here. I'm hoping that it will give me a reputation with my allies, because our alliances here are a little lower. Yep, 27. To the machinists, who we only had 33 out of. So that's very worthwhile for me to just send them a bunch of nutrient paste meals. In fact, if I knew it worked that well, I probably would have hung on to... I would have hung on to the insect meat that I had and sent some additional meals. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send a few more meals to free up space in my stockpiles, because I'm going to need space to put the berries, right? Veggies in the kitchen will have some of the berries, but berries spoil quickly, unlike potatoes or rice or whatever. So it's going to be important for me to have space in my freezer for them. There we go. My rep has changed. And we have hosted these royals for 3 out of the 18 days. No sign of the mech clusters yet. I'm going to harvest... Well, that's not what I meant to do. Plug in, plug in. Fine. You don't want to plug in? Doesn't really matter because I was going to harvest it anyway. There's the plug. I'm going to harvest some of these berry bushes a little early so that the count here has something to eat. Oh. All right, so that's also a bit of a problem. These swamp dusters that I've made, Phoenix has... Because these swamp dusters have higher armor than the crab ones. My guys are preferring them. But the problem with that, of course, is if they wear them, it's kind of deadly, you know, because they're gonna burn up and die. So the scarab here, this butchery. Okay, good. We should be hauling this scarab. Allow rotten. Out here just to throw away. I don't really need corpse biles here. So I suppose once I make these swamp leather dusters, I need to forbid them to prevent that from becoming an issue. No problem. I suspect my stay... No, my stay fortified zone includes this. What is this? Plan? Oh yeah, this is the plan that I lay down to figure out the light spacing. All right, now, one more food restriction. Call it royal. And raw food, vegetarian, berries. Now, Constance is going to be on royal. So he can eat all the berries he wants. and not starve to death. Which, he might get food poisoning, but that's really not my concern. If he gets food poisoning, oh well. I'll deal with him being sick, I suppose. Better sick than starving. So soon, Ario and Pho will need to get back into, like, forced inside. It's going to be too hot in probably a day or two for them to be outside. So that's another thing to keep in mind. We have 8 left. Okay, so at this point, we've made all of the superfluous extra clothing. And with the good materials that I have, bone dog leather and gorilla leather, let's go ahead and make pants and shirts. JD's our Mr. Taylor here. Taking a look at their personalities, because I never really did that. Constance has an undergrounder trait, which is really helpful in this instance because I can keep him inside. In fact, I'm going to stay inside for him. And then I also ought to update the stay inside zone because I had modified it most recently to do zone restrictions because of the mech clusters. So I'm going to update stay inside zone to actually literally be inside, except for maybe allowing them access to the telescope, because that is, that's sort of fine. All right, so the stay inside zone has been updated, and that's going to keep everyone safe, I suppose. And then also nimble. Ario is a misogynist brawler, so okay. And then you're beautiful, tough, and kind. Ah. Beautiful, tough, kind. Well, the issue with beautiful is, let's hope that Hippie or Leth doesn't fall in love. Because they would be a temporary guest. Although Hippie is a misandrist, so it's harder for her to fall in love with men. Because she hates men. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting some real berries here. And his diet will be frozen berries. A strange diet, to be sure. And it is officially the 1st of summer. My guys here very heavily dipping into the beer supply, so that might be something I need to grow a little extra. I'll have to keep an eye on that. But here's some good replacement clothing. Gorilla leather and bone dog leather clothing. And so far, the guests have been happy and treated well. That's about as high mood as I can possibly get without a throne speech or some sort of psychic soothe or something like that. It's the best I'm going to be able to do. So, how's my smoke leaf is... All right, so my smoke leaf is a little lower than I want it to be. I'm going to grow down here. Oh, and my tea. So down here, I'm going to switch these over to smoke leaf, tea, and hops for beer, for more beer, because my supply of these things are being depleted fastish, as my guests are really consuming. About the nicest way I could put it. I'm still hoping to find a ground penetrating scan, but I haven't yet. Like one more node. I did find jade though, so that's not terrible. Raptor needs a meditation spot. No, you don't. You have a throne. I don't know. And a work frenzy for Leth, who's been cleaning, so that's not exactly useful. Still a giant rubble mess over there. Curious if they'll get around to that eventually. We still have everybody on super hauling, so let me take that off and prioritize whatever normal tasks that they have. And that way we can actually do some farming. A masterwork shirt. Oh, lovely. I wonder who will benefit from that. Now soon the gorillas are also going to need to be restricted because it's going to get too hot for them. And because my crabs have health conditions, they aren't going to be my summer haulers. I'm very loyal to my crabs, despite the fact that one is double cataract bad back and the other one has significant brain injury, meaning that they can't really do work, but I'm using them for their wool. You know, I'm shearing them for their wool, and that's pretty much exclusively my relationship with my crabs. So all the shirts and pants are done. What does that leave me with? It leaves me with enough wool to do another set of parkatook. And maybe enough crab for 2 more cowboy hats, I guess. Got a big old potato harvest. It's going to keep us fed. And as you can see, my guests... Oh, an eclipse. My guests are in pretty good moods. So I haven't... Another masterwork. I probably don't need to worry about that too much. One thing I could do is give Ario and Pho some cowboy hats. I would just need to remember to remove them at the end of the winter. Or at the end of the summer, excuse me. So that they don't walk off with them. And I'm pretty sure I would forget to remove them. So, at least I know myself well, right? I know myself well enough that, yeah, that's something I would absolutely forget. But I could even give them dusters. And that would keep them productive, I guess, in the summer months. I'll have to think about it. They're also set to 100% recreate, so there is sort of a limit as to how much work they will even do for me, because at some point they just decide, oh, you know, I'm just gonna go hang out in the throne room or something, which is fine. I do care about their... Oh, that's not gonna help. Oh god, that's not gonna help. So Constance is male, Ario is male, Pho is male. I have a high psychic drone now that is going to absolutely obliterate their moods. So these guys are going to get fine meals. Yeah. Oh, come on. All right, and then we just had a mega blight. Potato famine here. I may even, so here's the thing. Given their current moods, we've got the option of doing yayo. And flake. Because I don't really care if my guests get addictions. I know how ridiculous that sounds, but I don't have to keep, you know, I'm not keeping them. So if they get addicted to stuff, I just can get rid of them. You know, at the end of this, protect them or whatever. So if the high psychic drone doesn't go away, I can give them hard drugs and just sort of ignore the fact that you know, they have addictions, as long as I keep feeding their addictions. Phoenix, could you help with the plant blight? Because it is spreading. I should have just said, don't grow, just cut, but I only lost like 3 plants to it. 4 plants, something. Pretty reasonable amount. There's another alternative. When you have a high psychic drone like this, you can anesthetize to knock people unconscious, or you can put them in cryptosleep caskets. Both methods will keep people from, you know, when you're unconscious like that, you don't have, your mood doesn't change. So that there is a pretty good method of dealing with moody characters. But I am out of time. So this has been a very smooth, relatively uneventful episode here, where nothing went wrong, which is exactly the jinx words that Randy needs to hear to make next episode absolutely crazy. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, everybody.